and welcome back to Beyond Borders. Today we are going to be discussing traditional clothing and fashion. My name's Abby. I'm from Uruguay and I will be hosting today. I have 3 wonderful guests with me. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves, please.
Hey y'all, my name is Hassan Bukhari and I'm a freshman. I'm majoring in computer science and I have a biology minor. A fun fact about me is that I like writing poetry and I'm from Pakistan.
Hi everyone, I'm Arnaz Maryam Tariq. I'm from Bangladesh. I am a senior, graduating in 2 weeks actually, so excited for that.
Hello everyone, my name is Sonantimba Sherpa and I am from Nepal, currently majoring in IT and I'm a sophomore.
To the topic that brings us here today, what's the traditional, or is there any traditional clothing style in your country or any typical clothing that you can tell me about?
So I'm wearing my traditional clothes right now. It's called a shalwar kameez. So this is what you would find like all over Pakistan. There's different variations of it, of course. During like lighter, more hotter months,
right,
you would wear like if without any layering on, just the kameez and the shalwar itself. And when it gets colder, people like to drape a chadar on it or like a shawl on top, which is what I'm wearing right now.
Right.
Yeah. So fun fact, in Bangladesh, shalwar kameez is actually what women wear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So shalwar is the pant and kameez is the top on top. That is, we usually wear more breathable fabrics throughout the year, I would say, because we are a tropical country, so it's really humid out there. For men, they generally have Punjabi and pajama. So Punjabi is whatever whatever kameez is for Pakistanis. So it's the shirt on top and pajama is the pant underneath. But I think if we're talking traditionally, I think more in the rural places, people like to wear lungi. So that's like a skirt you wrap around you and you tie a knot and it's just breathable, fun and nice.
Yeah, talking about mine, right now I'm wearing what's called chuba.
Okay.
So it's more of the people that live around the side of Tibet. A lot of this stuff over here is influenced from Tibetan Buddhism. As you can see, there's a lot of symbols in there. It's all Buddhism symbols. As I told you, I'm from Nepal. People would typically not associate this clothing with Nepali clothing because it looks similar to other South Asian clothing like you're wearing right now. It's called Daura Surwal. It's more on the white side, white side of the things instead of your blue, you know, typical blue. But this is what I'm wearing. A lot of patterns going on, but there's a lot of variations. People that still live on that cold side of, because this is made for like the cold, hilly region. So people from there usually have like a more thicker, using sheep wool and everything. So this is more of a on the modern Gen Z side of having more convenience and just having that typical foundation in there.
Yeah, that's very real because you were talking about women wearing shalwar kameez. That's the same for us. Both men and women wear shalwar kameez. They just look very different.
Okay.
And and also like you were talking about these motifs that you have. That's very true for like the northern regions. They usually tend to wear like more like isolated, but more like, you know, embroidered clothing. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah.
Back home in Uruguay, well, actually, we don't really have a traditional clothing in the ways you guys do. Like, there's a reason why I'm wearing this today. We have something that, you know, has historical roots, what people used to wear back in the day. But in reality, I don't think we do, honestly. Whenever there's an event and they say, oh, bring your traditional clothing, I'm like, sorry. My traditional clothing is jeans right now. So you guys touched on this a little bit, but did you guys have like a process of it becoming more modern or current, you know, like is it evolving in a way? Do younger generations wear this clothing differently?
Yeah, so what I'm wearing is like a more modern version of it. It's lighter, doesn't have like the buttons, cufflinks as a kameez normally would, and it's more like fitted. Back in the day, people would wear like looser garments, and similarly, you can find instead of a shalwar, like you were saying, people tend to wear pajamas. That's what we say, and they're like sleek and like cut at the bottom, like slanted. And yeah, that's like the modernization of our outfit.
I think for us, back in the days, like way before in the days, when we were still being ruled, I think women used to wear sari without a blouse. So what I'm wearing right now is a sari. The top part is the blouse and the bottom. It's just a really big fabric that we just drape around. Women used to wear that in a way that obviously covers up, but without the blouse. I think it's only after colonization is when the blouse was introduced to us. Other than that, I think, yeah, women used to wear saris for the most part. We call it shari in Bangla. It's not too different, it's just how it's said. But now I think the younger generation is more leaned towards wearing shalwar kameez just because it's more convenient and it's just easier to just put it on instead of like, you know, draping it around you. For men, I think lungi, the thing I mentioned, it was worn a lot back in your home and even like when you're going outside to run errands. But I think, yeah, as we're moving towards westernization a little, they just wear shirts and pants for just, you know, running the daily errands. I think, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, back in the days, I think people were wearing clothes more for the survival itself. And it was way more thicker because it's just as cold, you know. But now it's like just for your culture, it's just been the way it was. That's why you gotta wear it, you know, for a lot of cultural events and stuff. And I think that is also the reason why a lot of the clothes have transitioned over convenience more than survival itself. Because right now it won't make sense if, because Kathmandu is a pretty tropical place. It's not a very cold area. It's a valley, so it's like warm and cold at times. And wearing a sheep wool like type of clothing is not it. So a lot of people that I know, relatives, are have also transitioned because some still do wear those woolen type of thing because they grew up wearing those, feel comfortable wearing those. But a lot of modern people like Gen Zs and like new people, they tend to prefer more convenient clothing over those.
Right. Are there any colors or fabrics that have a special meaning for you in your culture?
Oh, I can't even get started. There's like so many for us. There's like, so I'm from a small part of Pakistan. It's called the Sindh, so it's one of our states, right? Our provinces. So ajrak is like a very common like type of embroidery and usually worn as shawls. And one key factor of that is mirror work. So they'll sew like small like cut pieces of mirrors into clothing, and yeah, it becomes like reflective.
I want it.
It's very beautiful, and that's one. There's like different in every province. There's pulkari, which is like embroidery in the shape of flowers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like I could go on forever on this. Yeah.
Symbolism.
Yeah.
So starting with colors, I think yes, Bengalis love to wear bright colors. As you can see, I'm wearing red. I'm the only one wearing like a very loud, pronounced color here. It's just how we are. I think we do associate red with love and new beginnings, which is why brides they tend to wear red on their wedding days. Yeah, no white.
Wow.
White is worn when you're trying to mourn.
Yeah, that's the same for us.
Yes. So.
My mind is blown right now. I just picture like a church opening and me or a bride from my country showing up in red and everyone being deeply confused. Or like showing up to a funeral in white. That would be so sorry. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
So I think red is an important color, especially when we have the more cultural events coming up. For example, Pohela Boishakh, which is Bengali New Year. So another fun fact, Nepalis and Bengalis share the same calendar, pretty much. And Pohela Boishakh was on the 14th of this month.
Yes.
It was on the 14th of this month. So yes, I was missing home really bad because of how festive it used to be back home. Everyone would dress up in colors of red or white. I think those were the most like predominant colors. We had some yellow and green going on. It's just like dress as brightly as you can. There's this other event that we have. It's called Pohela Falgun, I think. That's just inviting spring, so the first day of spring. And I know how girls wear yellow. For the most part, they wear sharis, they have flowers on their head, they wear flower crowns on their head. Yeah, I think we're very big on flowers too. And about fabric, yes, Bangladesh does have a big history on fabric too. I would like to talk about 3 that I have in the top of my head. So there is a fabric known as muslin. It was a very famous one back in the days, way back in the days. Poets used to call it woven air, as if it's made out of air, because it was so thin. It would pretty much pass into a small ring. It was, so you see how big a shari is. It's pretty big, and you could pass the whole thing through a ring. That's how soft it was. You could fold it, and you could fit it in a matchbox. That's how intricate it was. But some sort of clash happened. I don't remember history, and the fingers of the artisans were cut off. They were chopped off, and this art pretty much expired, and it was extinct from our part of the region. So we do have some available now, but they're just trying to replicate what it was. I don't think they could ever fully go back to what it was before. This other one is very famous in Bangladesh. It's called jamdani. So it's just a type of fabric you make saris out of. I think it's found in one of the big cities known as Narayanganj. So there is a river known as Shitalakha, and apparently that river water has conditions that help make the texture of jamdani look what it is right now. So I thought that was a very interesting thing. Other than that, I think cotton is pretty famous. I'm wearing cotton right now. It's just breathable and easy. So yeah, jamdani and muslin you would wear more on, you know, if you're going to a festival or a wedding, something like that.
Yeah. Colors are big on South Asia, as we already know. On my culture side, since it's more on the side of East Asia itself, like more on the Tibetan Chinese culture, one thing that kind of is different is like we try to stay like it's on weddings and stuff. We have separate clothes for bride and the groom itself. The groom, it looks more like they're the king, or it will be more golden. Over here, there's no design as you can see, but there's outer layer would also have a lot of design, a lot of gold in it. I'm pretty sure it used to be real gold, but I'm pretty sure it's not right now. But a lot of design, it staked out, and it was to make sure that we know that whose thing it is, whose day it is, you know.
Who's the main character.
And there's this saying back home, like you can never outdo the bride or the groom at the wedding. It's like,
you can
never do that.
Anywhere. No, that's the one thing that brings us together. You never outdo the bride.
Them. Even if you try, you can wear your own wedding dress to the wedding, and you're still not gonna outdo the bride.
Okay.
Because jewelry, red, layers upon layers.
A lot of jewelries.
Back home, it's considered very rude to even try to not look better, but bring attention to yourself more than the bride.
Yes. As you guys said, white is a mourning dress. This is more of a mourning color. It is different over here since a lot of people wear white in church and normal church days too.
We marry in white and go to funerals in black.
Yes.
Yeah, at least like my country is secular but has a Catholic majority, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
But I would love to see like your bride. Sounds like beautiful, just visually beautiful.
Yeah, there was this time when our king, there's a whole thing with our entire royal family getting assassinated. We still don't know who assassinated it. But that's a crazy thing. But yeah, it's
very
out of nowhere. But I'm trying to connect it back to our clothes because I've seen a lot of videos and the entire the nation were wearing white. because
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
royal family being dead and their funerals. I know there's particular days that they have to wear it until, and they also have to go bald, but I do not really know about that side.
Okay.
But I do know that they need to go bald, and there's different kind of salt or sugar that they need to eat for like a month or
Wow.
maybe more. During the morning times of your close ones, and at that time the king itself. So yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking about morning colors, I also remembered how in our country we have a lot of national days. One of them is 21st February. That is the Mother Language Day. So
Okay.
Bangladesh is known to be the country who brought this day to life. We fought for our language, and 1952, if I'm not wrong, is when a lot of people died fighting for their language. So we mourn them wearing black and white colors on that day. Other than that, we have other national days as well. For example, 16th December, that's our Victory Day. So as you can see, Bangladesh's color, we wear green and red. Everyone, the entire nation, trying to respect and just share the colors.
That must be very beautiful, like an ocean of people wearing the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about ours is like that it's very similar. On August 14, like Pakistan's Independence Day, so you'll see everyone wearing like green tops and like white shalwars and like just green and white. You can see that everywhere, celebrating flags. Everything's green and white on these days.
That must be really beautiful.
Yeah.
For us, you're gonna say?
Yeah, absolutely.
For us, it's like baby blue, sky blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the color of our soccer team. So it's not blue on the flag, it's lighter.
Okay.
And it's the shirt that we wear for our soccer team, and that's probably the one thing everyone in the country loves equally. You can disagree on politics, religion, and but we all love the national soccer team.
Yeah.
And whenever something's going on with the team, everyone dresses in like this light baby blue color. In Spanish, it's called celeste. So that would be our thing, I guess, if I had to think of a color for us that means something really special. How does clothing for you and in your cultures represents or is used to express your personality or to express a social status or even pride in something, for example?
Okay, that's an interesting question. For clothing, normally clothing now is like more convenient.
Right.
Like instead of like showing out, you usually just show up now. But like ages ago, of course, the trend of wearing saris, like before independence, and I guess it was like it depends actually where you're coming from.
Okay.
So if we have a state which borders India, it's called Punjab. Everyone wears the most vibrant colors. They have these pants called churidars, which are like tight fitting, and then your kameez, they're like different flower motifs, different like patterns. Just like on normal days, you'd wear like lime green, the most like neon pink, just to celebrate, because it's like very normal to like wear vibrant colors in Punjab. In Sindh, which is like near to the coast, the colors are much more darker, like black, dark red, brown, like this color of brown. It's called kathai.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like very normal for them because it's like more like somber, almost. And of course, in the mountainous regions, thick like woolen tunics, and like it's more convenient. So in Kashmir, they have these loose garments, and this is crazy, but they're so loose that they can attach clay pots with fire inside of them to keep them warm.
I've actually, when I was in Kashmir, I don't know how different Indian Kashmir is from Pakistani Kashmir, like clothing-wise, but I remember being in one of the places, I think it was Pahalgam, I think, and they made us try like those dresses. It was really big, and I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's very cool. How about you?
What about you?
Like I said, it's more on the status side. Clothing has gotten more like about expressing yourself. I love gray, as you can see. My pants are gray, and these are gray. I love gray. But before, it used to be more of a status thing, because clothing, especially if you have a lot of wool in it, it gets really expensive and stuff. So what kind of clothing you wear is definitely like, it depends on your status and how you are in the in your economic class. And on the color side, a lot of people down south, bordering India, has a lot of similar clothing to India. Like it looks like lungi, but I think we call it dhoti. Yes. It's like plain white because it's so like hot in there. You don't want to wear anything that's like kind of dark. It catches heat way too fast. And over up north, it really doesn't matter. People really wear everything just to keep themselves warm.
It's interesting the element of convenience that keeps coming up. Because there's also like sometimes you dress for success and you dress like wanting to give a certain message, and sometimes you just want to be okay and be comfortable. For example, at home in winter, it gets so cold that you might see some people who really manage to look beautiful throughout the situation, and some people are just wearing as many layers as they can.
Yeah, understandable.
Do they match? No. Does it look a little weird? Yes, but you need to be okay. So and you're freezing, so that's very interesting.
I'd rather feel okay than
I'd rather be healthy and comfortable.
I think social status-wise, I think the only time back home people can kind of show off a little is during the weddings.
Okay.
Because people go all out. Like you're gonna understand. You're gonna know.
I'm jealous at this point because also like
we have big fat weddings.
Comparatively, your cultures are very similar considering mine.
True.
I'm all the way from the very south of South America, and I see some commonalities in what you guys are sharing, your experiences, and I keep thinking, weddings, man.
Yeah,
they know how to
trust me. If you want to see like culture, tradition, fashion, everything, just go to a wedding.
You're gonna
see
food
as well.
Yeah, hands full of mehendi. You're gonna see the groom coming in on a horse, and like all the people behind them
dancing, welcoming,
fireworks.
Oh
my God.
Yeah, we have everything.
We've been doing it wrong. Invite me. You have to invite me. Whoever gets married first, please. So I want to have that experience. How do you guys think global trends internationally, things that is now more easy to know what's going on fashion-wise in other countries, how do you think that has affected fashion in your countries? And also, how do you manage that and tradition? You know, not losing your traditional clothing, but also you can't help the fact that we know what's trendy everywhere else.
So for us, I'd like to touch on the fact that our clothes used to be very baggy, right? So they were considered very, very lousy, like not appropriate for like formal wear. Like you can just, like if you have a formal meeting, you can bust in there with like a kurta.
Okay.
You've got to, of course, because it's like normal to wear like a suit and tie everywhere you go. So that kind of influenced our like traditional outfits, because slowly the kurta and shalwar became like more fitted to your frame, and they became lighter too, because we had like bold, sharp colors, and over time they became like lighter, more somber, like the color I'm wearing right now. That's like more blue. But yeah, people started adding like more, I guess, like you had cufflinks sometimes, and I like to talk about like, so we didn't have like a coat of sorts. We have this thing called a sherwani, and collar like lapel, which kind of is like it's not like black in color. It's like bold, cream, golden, and with like a big lapel, which I guess like would be considered more of what like a groom would wear.
Okay.
But they also kind of got tailored towards like more identical to suits, like the modern suits.
Understand.
Yeah.
What about you?
What were we talking about?
Like how global trends have influenced traditional clothing.
I think it's very interesting because more in the urban places is where we see a lot of like modern fusion with what we have traditionally, especially in our capital city, Dhaka. You're gonna see, I think that is when westernization and like our traditions fuse the best. I'm from Chittagong. It's a much smaller city, but we're still there. I think it's beautiful how women manage this fusion the best. I haven't seen a lot of fusion in men's clothing, except for maybe they're wearing the Punjabi with the jeans instead of the pajama. They are wearing sneakers instead of whatever the traditional footwear is. For women though, you see how they're trying to experiment with saris. So they do wear the shari, but the blouse is going to be, they're probably like experimenting with crop tops or any other tank tops and just see how that goes. I'm seeing how even shalwar kameez wise, they're wearing the kameez and they're wearing jeans underneath. And I think tote back has been a big thing back home, even when it became a trend in the West. We used to have it made out of jute. Jute is a very big thing back home.
Very big thing.
And I think that's coming back. And I love how even with like Western clothing, they are managing to keep some elements of our tradition. For example, the earrings I'm wearing right now, it's called jhumka back home. There are different forms of it. It's a little more pronounced than what regular earrings would generally look like. And I'm seeing how even with like Western clothing, they do wear the jhumkas with it. They wear, I think Bengalis are big on oxidized silver jewelries. And they manage to, I think women now, they're wearing like those nose rings, like the traditional ones, even with your like Western outfits. And that really looks good. I think they're keeping the bangle. I think jewelry-wise, we're doing the best job, like keeping touches of tradition like still alive in whatever you're wearing. They wear a lot of bangles. I'm wearing one my grandma gave me, but I think it's a norm to see women wear bangles back home. Even with the Western outfits, they wear, it's called a tip. It goes in the middle of your forehead. I don't want to call it a sticker, but it kind of looks like a sticker. It's a circular one. It comes in many forms, but I think these are the subtle things they keep in their outfits to keep the tradition still alive. Maybe we're leaning a little more towards minimalism than what we were before.
Right.
It used to be much more pronounced back then, and now we're just getting more simple, but there are subtle ways in which you're still keeping the culture alive, maybe by the prints. What print I'm wearing right now is called batik print. It's made out of, I think it's made out of wax, and then you dye it with different colors. So it's pretty simple and wearable, and they're trying to keep these prints alive in even the more simple, convenient outfits.
Okay.
Yeah, adding on to your minimalism thing, I think that's so true because back home we have a hat called Dhaka topi, which used to be really popular among like the older generations because that was like the hat of Nepal. You know, it symbolized Nepal.
Wow.
And nowadays, people tend to use more. It's the same, like the style is the same, but it's like only black, pitch black, or pitch gray. I guess like modern people, like people in the newer generation, don't like to have like a lot of patterns in their clothing. They prefer more of like the bland minimalism stuff going on. And you said like on the topic of modernization, the only first thing that that stands out is wearing sneakers. I'm wearing sneakers right now. And wearing pants too, because I don't think my great-grandfather was, I mean, these all things were same, but they were not wearing Air Forces once. That's what I'm saying. That's one of the main things that sticks out on the modernization front. Other things like getting it more convenient, you know, instead of, because we're not here like literally dying of cold, which used to be the case back in the days. So yeah.
I think it goes back to like comfort and adapting to the environment. We have the environment adapting to us now, so we get to wear what we want. So do you guys have any final thoughts on this topic that you would like to share? I think for me, I've learned that your weddings are awesome and visually beautiful, and that you have many wonderful traditions that I wish I could see. I think the way you in your cultures show tradition through clothing and visual elements must be something really beautiful to witness.
Yeah, I like to add on to that that really took, like, before colonialization, that wasn't a big thing, but I guess once voices are like suppressed, people try to show out by dressing more freely, and that's what like caused like a huge uproar of like clothing and like more vibrancy. And it was pretty interesting learning about not only your cultures, but how similar like our cultures are together. And it just says that clothing is like a universal language for everyone.
That's such an interesting thought. Yeah. What are your final thoughts?
I'd say in Nepal, a lot of things we have in South Asia is really same. We also talked about it before the show. We're like, we try to be so different, but we're like so same. We're like, our curry is good, our you know, meat curry is better, but it's pretty much the same.
Still curry.
Yes, we're still But one thing that kind of stuck out was the emphasis on colors itself over in Bangladesh and Pakistan, because in Nepal, like as far as I know, even other culture around the hilly region itself, they're not as pronounced. Maybe the women's side is more like they wear different colors of saris, but on the men's side, it's usually the gray ones with just a suit, which comes down to modernization. I don't think people used to wear those suit over it, and yes, it's just new things to learn, you know.
Okay.
I think for me it was interesting to learn that our countries do have minorities and they have beautiful ways of representing their culture. I think if you really want to look what the culture looks like in a country, you should visit the minor regions.
That's interesting.
I have grown up in the city. I have not had the fortune to travel in those areas, and there are a lot of minor groups, for example, Chakma, Marma, Garo, Tripura, and their ways of dressing up is beautiful. I wish I had like a full knowledge of explaining what they wear and what they usually have on them, but yes, it was interesting knowing that like a lot of us share that minority aspect in our countries too.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I've learned a lot. I hope you learned a lot as well. I think we all did.
Yes.
So that was another episode of Beyond Borders. Stay tuned and watch what we do next.